at you with another one. And this one is going to be on basically understanding addiction, like the alcoholism that I experienced, that I was fully at fault for, responsible for, all of that stuff. But understanding addiction in your brain and pretty much kind of what I went through as an alcoholic. Like, share, and subscribe to video or to this video or to my channel. Send it around to whoever you think might need it because I had a rough point in my life and I want to make your life less rough. So let's get started. So, what is addiction? Okay. So addiction is a chronic disease characterized by compulsive drug use or seeking use behaviors despite harmful consequences. It can involve substances like alcohol, drugs, or behaviors such as gambling. My fix was alcohol, and I used it a lot. I used it, I guess, whatever the opposite of sparingly is. So brain mechanisms, dopamine, and a reward system. The brain's reward system is heavily involved in addiction because, of course, you wouldn't be doing it if it sucked really bad or just wasn't good. Drinking a lot is fun for the most part, until you're throwing up or, dying of kidney failure or something like that. So the brain structure changes, or addiction can lead to changes in the brain structure and function, particularly in the areas related to decision making. So it makes you more impulsive and stress regulation. And one of the things that I've brought up a lot of the times in the past is like I've had some of the worst anxiety whenever I was drinking. Like it felt physical to me, like I was being like damaged by the amount of stress that I would experience whenever I had anxiety. Very crazy. So genetics and environment, so they say that genetics can play a significant role in addiction vulnerability, influencing individuals who respond to drugs and their likelihood of developing an addiction. So, some people are predisposed to addictive behavior, whether that's gambling, playing with your life, like using one of those wingsuits to go base jumping or something like that. Nothing that I really cared for, but some people have that in place of alcoholism. And environmental factors, stress, trauma, socioeconomic status can contribute to the likelihood of addiction. That makes a lot of sense to me because if you go to the hood, which is where I came from, it's a lot of people sitting around, a lot of people that look like me, at least where I grew up at, sitting around getting drunk, probably also doing drugs over there. Who knows what the heck they're doing while they're not at work or doing something actually useful to the world, the community, their own families, like stuff like that, important things. But so the recovery process that I experienced, so understanding recovery is a complex and often non-linear process that involves overcoming addiction and rebuilding one's life. Definitely for me, I don't think that I'd be where I'm at right now in the career that I'm at. And you can just look around my channel for what career I'm in or make anywhere near what I make right now if I hadn't gotten over my addiction to alcohol. So my recovery process, there's detoxification, therapy and counseling, and medical assisted treatment. You know what? Actually, I went through all three of these steps. So the detoxification actually happened after I got out of the Air Force because that's when I stopped drinking. And pretty much all the way up until that point, I didn't stop drinking. Therapy and counseling, they tried that in the Air Force, is a program called ADAPT. Don't even know what that stands for, but it's basically like AA programs where you say, hey, my name is Nicholas, I'm an alcoholic. So we did all of that, and as well as the medical assisted treatment. I didn't So this says that it's medications to help reduce cravings and withdrawal symptoms. I didn't actually have to get that, but my blood was drawn and a few other things to make sure that I was okay during my drinking period and during that ADAP class that I was talking about. So there's support groups. My support group was my family mostly, my like immediate, so my wife, and the fact that I was gonna have a kid eventually and have a little family unit. I didn't want that to be embroiled in alcohol feud arguments or fights or just neglect of the child or anything like that. I didn't want that to be my future or my daughter's future. I didn't know if I was gonna have a daughter or a son at that time, but still had to put it down. Coping strategies, developing healthy habits, building resistance. I definitely developed more healthy habits after I stopped drinking, whether that was food, just in general. Like I started taking my life more seriously because like there were points and times to where I would only just drink beer like pretty much all day. Maybe get some like hot dogs or something for lunch and then just get right back to drinking immediately. I was tripping. I don't know. So neuroplasticity, the brain has a remarkable ability to reorganize and adapt. So basically change all the addiction patterns that you kind of hardwired into your head. Rewiring the brain, of course, the same thing, and stress reduction techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises can help you. So my journey was more just drinking a bunch of water so that I got so full that I could only drink but so much beer without like throwing everything up or something like that. And that was the beginning. And then I eventually transitioned to just stop drinking all together. So glad that I got to that last stage that I just talked about, because I could still be battling with that. And I know that this video is gonna catch somebody who's still drinking heavily and possibly destroying their lives and their family's life. Stop, bro. That's what this whole video is about. Stop, bro. That's coming from somebody who was drinking maybe 230 racks in a week, so maybe 60, I think it's like 32 actual cans of Miller in a 30 rack, so that's 64 beers in a week. And I might actually get more, because I might do I might have done, this is all in the past, 230 racks on the weekends and then one during the week to kind of hold me over. So that's a total of like 96 beers, so 4 away from 100 beers every week, to include the cost for all of that. Hopefully you can see how all these things kind of interconnected with me, and how I was able to how I started in the process, and then how I was able to kind of slowly walk my way through the process and then finally get over alcoholism. Hopefully that helps you. Like, share, and subscribe. This video has to find its way to somebody else who has the same problem as you do, and the same problem as I did have. And liking, sharing, and subscribing to the video will help do that. You can also check the link in the description below. I have my website link there, where I have a book about getting over alcoholism and kind of how I went through those steps. You can go check out my website to get a little bit more in-depth information than what I just went through during this video, because I know there's a lot in there. And eventually, I do plan on putting a course together around this on my school, and my school is also linked in the description below. But mostly it revolves around my career right now, which is an engineering career, estimating. And if you would like to know more about that, you can just either watch my other free videos or go to any of those links that I shared below. And thank you for watching. I truly do appreciate you viewing this. I'm not really an introvert per se. I can be, so it's not really that big of a deal for me to make a video about myself and my struggles and stuff like that. But I appreciate you watching, because that means somebody else will get some help. So, all right.